Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Thursday. Welcome to another Faith live stream. I am Mallory, if you're new. I love my pumpkin background. Thank you, Clemmy. She was like, we should do something fall. So I didn't want to ask her last second, but she suggested it, so we did it. Anyways, hope y'all are having a lovely day. Good afternoon, Miss Donna and Sylvia, faithful ladies who are always watching. Running through a few announcements off the top of my head. This Saturday is our Freedom Bash, our Thanksgiving one. It is going to be big. It is going to be the biggest one we've had. So please come out and help and be a part of that as we give to those who are in need. We help them with their Thanksgiving and hand out Thanksgiving baskets and share the gospel and all the things we always do at the Freedom Bash. That is this Saturday. If you are volunteering, please be here at the church by 9:45. Unless you are with a specific group who has already been told to be here earlier, all of you who are not, be here at 9:45. Good afternoon, Cassie. And then Sunday is our service at 10:30. Please know that D groups are over. If you are not aware, if you missed the last one, the announcement, your teacher should have told you, but if not, they are over. We always do have the D group prayer class at 9. That's in room 158 if you are interested in that. That is from 9 until around 10-ish. And then our new believers class will be on its third week this week. If you are interested in it for the next go around, it will be December 3rd, I believe. Yes, December 3rd is when the next one will be. There will be a sign-up sheet in the lobby. So if you are a new believer, if you know someone who's a new believer that needs that solid foundation teaching of the word, please let them know to come and sign up for the class. And those are the main ones right now, I think. I don't think I need to go over everything. No Equip You Wednesday, the 22nd. Please spend time with your family. What else, Clemmy? Yes, the Scarlet Ladies Breakfast will be the 25th from 9 to 11. It will be a lovely time, so please wake up and come join us.
We also have the bake sale.
Oh, my word. I am in charge of that. Yes, we do have a bake sale. Ladies, and any men as well, if you like to cook, if there's something you like to make that's not sweets, everything is welcome. And so please bring it before service. Everyone typically starts bringing it, or just whenever you can get here, bring it. We will be selling before and after. So drop them off with me and my lovely volunteers, and we will raise money that goes straight towards doing events for the ladies ministry. Good afternoon, Naomi. Thanks for jumping on. That confused me for a second. So yes, please bring stuff to the bake sale. This is one of our biggest ones of the year. And I will be bringing, I'm just going to say it live, so I have to stay committed to it. I'm bringing my salsa, so add that to my plate. So if you want salsa, it does go quick. And so that will be there. So did I miss any big ones, other big ones? Think that. I think Young Adults is the 19th, yeah. That is this Sunday. This Sunday, y'all, the days fly by. The days fly by. I'm like, I can't believe. Yeah, they are. So this Sunday, Young Adults, please come and do. It's at Caleb's house, right? Caleb and Brooke's house. They'll be doing the Friendsgiving. You want to be a part of that. Love you too, sweet girl. And so, okay, we are jumping into it. Unless I missed something super important, they will let me know. Good afternoon, Miss Cornelia. Alrighty, so today I am sharing, we're just going to be real. The Lord has been working on my heart with, I love you too, Sylvia. Time management. There are times that the Lord, I used to think I was good at time management, but I've learned lately that there are days that I finish my day and I'm like, what in the world did I get done? And with a toddler, it's different. So I have to give myself some grace, but also I can't just let the days waste away, right? And not be productive. As believers, we should be productive, and non-believers are going to be productive as well. But I really want to focus on why we should manage our time wisely, because it's something you never get back, right? Yes, you have to rest, but we are not to be lazy people. And personally, like I said, I've thought I was a good time manager, but I have learned recently that I'm a procrastinator, and it's not always good. So we are going to look at real things, not that the word's not real, let me back up. We're going to look at like realistic, like day-to-day stuff, and then the word and what it says about not being lazy and how we should manage our time. Because really, when you think about it day to day, we should manage our time wisely and be productive in the things that matter to us and taking care of our family, but also because every day you are to be furthering the kingdom in what you do, right? And so we're going to look at that because we all could grow in that area. You should always be growing in every area, right? So time management. We are all made different. God made all of us different, but the one thing we all have in common is we all have the same minutes, hours, seconds of the day, right? No one has more time in a day than the other. So you should probably be getting a good night's rest, but the remainder of the day is up to you with what you get done. And so time does not bend in order for you to get your tasks accomplished, right? And so why is it important? Why is managing your time important? So not only did Jesus Christ lay down his life for us to give us life, but he gave us time here on this earth to use it wisely, and we should always, of course, be using our time wisely to tell others about him, right? We are here to further his kingdom. He has given us more time to reach the lost, to give everyone an opportunity to give their life to the Lord and experience the freedom, the love, the joy, the peace that he gives us as a free gift. And so use your time wisely. Are you a person who wakes up and just says, okay, we'll just see how the day goes, we'll see what happens? Or are you a to-do person? I am I like tasks, and if they're gonna get done, I have to write them down. The girls and I were just talking about reminders in our phones and setting alarms. These days, if I'm going to remember something, I have to set an alarm because I feel like, not my brain is like all over the place, but there's just a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. And if I don't set alarms or if I don't write things down, Sean will be like, hey, did you do so-and-so? I'm like, no, I didn't. And sometimes that's okay, but not all the time. So however you work best, you have to figure out what works for you, right? So we should all wake up with an expectation of what our day should look like. You're not just going flippantly about your day. You should never, I've said this before, but you should not just say, I'm killing time, right? That is a lethal phrase. You're not killing time because it's something that you will never get back. Yes, he's really good at that. So since each day is a gift from God and no one knows how many days they have, right? We should make the most of every single one we have. Don't mindlessly waste time because like I said, you'll never get back and it can be destructive. Have you ever had a day, which again, yes, you should rest. But this week, I know there was a day that I was taking care of Eden and it was a day full of sickness and not getting anything done. And I felt like wasted time. No, taking care of my daughter is not wasted time, don't hear me wrong, but I did nothing. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I felt like I didn't accomplish anything. But that day, I didn't know that I was gonna wake up to being vomited on over and over and over. But you have to use your time wisely. So when you wake up, don't just waste the day to where when you finish it, you feel even tireder than when you woke up, because being lazy makes you tired. And so laziness has no place in your life if you're a believer. And I have scripture for that. So Proverbs 13:4. Proverbs 13:4. It says, lazy people want much but get little, but those who work hard will prosper. So if you want to be prosperous, you have to put yourself to work. things are not just going to happen. You have to do it, right? We talk about that over and over at Church in the City. Jesus Christ, God our Father, they have done our part. He sent his son, their part, excuse me. He has sent his son to die for us, to purchase our salvation, our healing, our freedom. And it is up to us here on this earth with what we do. With any topic you can choose, there are things in the Bible that are up to you. They are not suggestions, they are commands, and you choose if you are going to do them. So that was Proverbs 13:4. Are you in the comments, type if you are an early riser or if you're a night owl. Do you prefer to get up before everyone else and start the day when it's quiet and it's dark outside and everyone's sleeping, or I guess it's vice versa. Everyone's asleep at night and it's dark. Do you like to stay up really late and get things done, or really early? I know I've always been a morning person. My schedule has been different since having Eden, because there will be times that I stay up late in order to get things done before I go to bed, because I never know what my night will hold or my morning will hold. In this season of my life, I'm kind of just flexible. So there are times where I am done at night and I'm like, I've got to go to bed. And then there are times where I know that I have to stay up in order to get the things done that I am responsible for. Clemmy says, ideally, I would like to be a morning person, but I too have become a night owl lately. I prefer to be a morning person, but since school started, I've been more on the side of a night owl. Yes, we are all in the same boat. I love getting up in the morning. Today, I set my alarm for 5, and I don't exactly know what time I woke up, but it was a few snoozes later, and I finally got out of bed. But once I get up, I love it. Used to, before Eden, I could pop out of bed and be fine at 4:30, and there was no problem. So when you have responsibilities, I'm flexible as well. It depends on the day. Yes, Cassie. It definitely, as time has gone, it just depends on the day. And I had beaten myself up about you're not getting up and getting stuff done. But you know what? Sometimes seasons in life look different. And so in the end of the day, choose what you need to get done in order to, whether that be obviously getting up, spending time in the Word, in prayer. And it might not be first thing in the morning that you're able to actually sit in the Word. Or you might be with toddlers and little ones, and getting in the Word is opening your Bible and trying to read and then trying to tear your pages out, or reading it out loud for a couple minutes and they come and they need your attention. So you have to realize that finding the priorities of what you need to do to strengthen your spiritual walk, right? But then also to get the tasks done. We live in this earth and there's things that we have to get done. And so whether it be in your home, whether it be at work, you have to prioritize what is important to you, because we all know we find time to do things that are important to us. So, for example, when we're talking about getting things done, do y'all like, I don't, that it gets dark at like 5:20? Because then it's 5:20 and it's dark in your house and it's like, oh, it's time to wind down and have a cup of tea and go to bed. But no, it's not. We haven't even had dinner at this point and it's dark. So I definitely, as far as morning versus night owl, I like to be a morning person, but I have become flexible. And so, like we were talking about, we're talking about realistic stuff, right? Sleep is important. I'm not saying to not sleep. There have been many nights that I have realized how much I love sleep, but it is totally different now, and sleep deprivation will get you. So you have to take care of yourself. If you have the ability to sleep 8 hours, please sleep 8 hours. Your body needs it. There are studies that show that you need 8 hours of sleep. God designed it for our bodies to refuel, to recover, to get the rest that we need so that we can continue about our day. Thank you, Kristen. I love you too. Continue about our day, furthering the kingdom, taking care of our family, taking care of ourselves, and the way God intended to. And so you need 8 hours, but what are you going to do with the remaining, 16 hours of your day? What are you choosing to do? How will you steward it? The Bible talks about being a good steward. And so a lot of people will do like work or school for 8 hours. So then what? That leaves you another 8 hours, right? Yes, and do math, another 8 hours. And so choose what you need to do to strengthen yourself, to better yourself, to get things done. There are times it's very humbling, like I was talking about. You look back on your day and you see the waste of time. Y'all, once it's gone, it's gone. So every choice matters. It sounds silly, but it does. We all have the same hours in a day. And so we don't have the same numbers. So that's what I was going at. We all have the same hours in a day, but we don't all have the same numbers of days in our life, right? We never know when our last day is going to be our last day. When you think about it. So everyone has numerous responsibilities, and yes, some distractions that are taking our time and attention. I know that I can mindlessly scroll on social media. It's not good. I have to completely get off, put it on like the back page of my phone so that I'm not always doing it and on it. Sylvia, you work nights. Hats off to you. I did nights for a while. I couldn't do it anymore. And so how often have we said that we don't have time to read our Bible, to go to church? That is a big thing. These families that will say, oh, I don't have time to take my kids to church, but you had time to go to the Cowboys game and you had time to go to the Rangers game the night before. And so you make time for what's important to you. And when you steward your time wisely, when you put the Lord before everything else, there are verses after verses about how you will prosper, because when you're seeking after him, your life goes smoother, your life goes better, right? And so we all need to make sure that we're prioritizing our time and our day. I know these lovely ladies in the studio with me today have a ton going on. They have Bible school, they have work, they have a ton of responsibilities at the church. And it is important, like we were talking about, they have to-do lists, they have methods, they have systems. Clemmy is over all of our graphics, and she has systems in place of, instead of being bombarded, she's like, all right, we're going to do this, send me an email, you fill out this sheet. Like, there has to be structure in order to get things done. And you have to find what systems work for you. We are probably all guilty of, no, I already said that, sorry. We're talking about how we all find time for the things that are important to us. So 1 John 2:17 says, the world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever. And so daily we should be doing the will of God. We should be stewarding our time to take care of our family, to manage our households, to further the kingdom. And it's not just people that are in ministry. It's not just people who work at a church. This is for everyone who is a believer. God wants us to make him and his word priority and make it important to us. Everyone have always said you'll understand the Father's love when you have kids. And it's so true. It's like the minute you have a child, it's like instant love and you would do anything for them. The other day, this sounds silly, but this bee started chasing Eden, and I don't like bees, but I have to keep it away from my child. So here comes this bee into my car, and I'm like having to swat it, and it's attacking me. And I'm sure we looked hilarious out in the driveway. But, that love that the Father has for us, he's jealous when we're not spending time with him, when we're not putting him first. Like I said, your day might not always start immediately in the Word and immediately getting to read an hour. But like Sean was talking this morning on his live stream, is you wake up with a thankful heart. You wake up thanking him for what you do, for the things you have, the health you have, the breath in your lungs, everything good is from him. And so that is a form of worship. You're thanking him and you're praising him. So it looks different. I'm not saying you have to spend a couple hours in the Word every day, but steward your time where you're spending time with him, when you're pursuing him also with, I'm sorry, Sean is distracting me, y'all. Okay, so in the morning, do you ask him to guide you? Do you ask him to give you wisdom on how to manage all of the things you have to do? Because there have been times I go to Sean and I am overwhelmed. I don't know how to do this. And he'll be like, well, did you ask the Lord what to do? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And so it sounds silly, but you get caught up in the day-to-day life and you forget to ask the one who created you of how you should handle something. Because if you ask him, he's going to give you the wisdom for it. The Word tells us that ask and you shall receive. And so stop, open your mouth, and ask the Father of how you should steward your time, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, because that's how you're going to get the things done that you need to get done. There are things that maybe are on your to-do list that aren't super important for that day, and he'll give you the guidance of what to do now and what to do later. Good afternoon, Tao. It's not morning. So a few points here. Number one, why is time management important? We have to live daily with eternity in mind. Only God knows the number of days we have, right? The Bible continuously tells us to make the most of our time that we have on earth so that we can make an impact on the kingdom. Everything in life for a believer boils down to that. Eternity in mind. This is not our forever home. We're passing by, but what we do here on this earth is important. The only things we can take with us are souls. It's not all of the things we accomplish here, but the things that you do, steward your time to where those things strengthen you, they grow you to push you out to win souls, right? And it's not just, you don't have to go out to just an event for soul winning. Tell your coworkers about the Lord. Tell the people at the grocery store. And so that is our primary goal. If we aren't managing our time, how can we be effective in everything that we do if we aren't using our time wisely? And so a quote that C.S. Lewis said, which it talks about the Christians' time management. If you read history, you will find that the Christians who did the most for the present world were just those who thought most of the next. So when you keep your eyes on eternity, you're going to be more effective here, because that is what matters. We get wrapped up and think this life right now, that's all that matters. But no, when you keep your eyes on eternity and keep your eyes on winning souls for Jesus, that is when you really realize how important every day is. You never know when it's going to be your last. And we say that sometimes just flippantly, but it's true. You never know when your last day is going to be. Ephesians 5:15-17 says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." So it says in the verse 15, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise." You should be wise in everything you do. Everywhere you go, you should have purpose in where you're going and what you're doing. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "Yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end." Point number two. So point number one was we live daily with eternity in mind. Point number two is don't procrastinate. That's why time management is important. Procrastination typically ends not well. And so when there's something we have to accomplish, the word gives us very clear instruction to make plans to do it in a timely way. Do not wait until the last minute, because it might not get done at all, or the job might be not done well, right? We should always work well. We should work with excellence. And when you're waiting till the last second to do stuff and putting something together really quickly last minute, it either is not going to get done at all, or it's not going to be done with excellence. And we are supposed to do everything with excellence. Procrastination is the enemy of accomplishment. So quit procrastinating. When something comes up that you need to do it. The Bible tells us to not stress and worry, right? Well, when you begin to procrastinate, you are creating stress and worry for yourself. Don't do it to yourself, because you're not supposed to worry. You're not supposed to stress. So when something arises that you need to get done, put it on a to-do list to get it done. Or if it has to be right then and there, stop and do what you need to do. Proverbs 21:7 says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." And then Proverbs 6:4, this one got me. "Don't put it off, do it now. Don't rest until you do." Proverbs 6:4 NLT. That really was, wow, that is the word telling us to not procrastinate. Don't put it off, do it now. Don't rest until you do. There are times you've got to stay up late or get up early to get done what you're supposed to get done. In James, it also calls procrastination a sin. Listen to this. "Remember, it is sin to know what you ought to do and then not do it." That was a slap in my face. I was like, wow. So procrastination is a sin. It is a sin to know what you ought to do and then not do it. If you know you're supposed to be doing something, if you know the Lord has told you to do something and you're putting it off, it's a sin. I'm not saying it. The word is saying it. So quit putting things off and do it. If the Lord has called you to do something, do it. Lazy people, sorry, this is Proverbs 13:4. Proverbs 13:4. And I'm talking all of this, and I'm talking to myself as well. I'm not saying this is how I've got it figured out. These are just things that I have been learning lately and just thought I would share. So Proverbs 13:4, lazy people want much but get little, but those who work hard will prosper. Be a hard worker. Have good work ethic. These days, sometimes work ethic is hard to find. But the word tells us we should be hard workers. We will prosper. If you're lazy, you won't get much. When Sean and I first got married, this is kind of a little off topic, but not dirty, but rinsed off dishes on the right side of the sink didn't bother me. I was like, I'll just get it in the morning. Well, they bothered him. And so as his wife, I tried to be respectful and honor him in that going to bed with a clean kitchen was important to him. Even though I did not always do it with the best of attitudes, I started to do that, to clean the kitchen at night before we went to bed. And now I can't stand when there's dishes everywhere. Like, I have to get it done. And so there are times, if you are a spouse, if you have a spouse, there are times you're going to not want to do certain things, but you are called to honor your spouse. You're called to serve them. And I'm not sure why I'm talking about this, but maybe someone needs to hear it. Even if you start out doing the bad attitude, I'm not saying it's right to have a bad attitude, but even if you start out doing it that way, at least do it. You're supposed to honor your spouse and do what they need. And so that was for somebody. Clean your kitchen. No, whatever your spouse has asked you to do that you are grudgingly not wanting to do it. There are times you have to put away your selfish desires and do what they want. Yes, it is awesome to come out to a clean kitchen in the morning. I completely agree. And so where was I going with that? Don't be lazy. Do what you're supposed to do. We did Proverbs 13:4, right? Okay. Point number 3, don't overcommit yourself. This is a struggle for some people. They want to have their hands in everything and do everything so that they can feel like they are serving and making a difference, right? Well, I'm not saying don't serve, but find the areas you're called to and say yes to those areas. You don't have to say yes to every area because someone comes to you asking you to serve. If you love kids, serve in kids. If you love greeting, do greeting. You don't have to do every single thing. And it's okay to say no. It's okay. So Matthew 5:37 says, just a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. So let your yes and let your no be no. But what I'm saying with that is, hi, Katrina. It's okay to say no. You're not going to hurt people's feelings. And if you do, that's on them. Don't overcommit yourself to where you have too much going on, to where everything is falling. What is the term? It's not falling to pieces, but you're kind of like half doing everything and you're not doing things with excellence because you've said yes to too much. You must make the decision of what is important to say yes to and in this season of your life. So you used to maybe could do everything, but either you're newly married or you have children or you're in Bible school, or there are things where you have to decide what has the Lord called you to do, make that a priority, and those other things are just going to have to not be on your to-do list in this season of life. And that's okay. And then point number 4, balance, balance, balance. All of this, things we should be doing, but also rest. There's that fine line, y'all. Rest is important for good health. Like we had talked about, you have to rest, you have to sleep, but there is a balance of working hard and resting. I'm not saying go, go, go all the time to where you're grinding yourself down into the ground, but you have to figure out what the Lord has told you to do and do that. You're not comparing yourself to other people. You're not doing stuff because someone else is doing it, but you're doing it because the Lord has told you to do it. Pray for wisdom so that you don't become a workaholic, but then you also don't sleep the day away and become lazy. There's a very fine line. So don't be a workaholic and don't be lazy. Figure out what you're supposed to do and do it. You do it with excellence. We're not procrastinating, right? And a few verses that I just kind of had towards the end after all those points of number 1, what was it? We live daily with eternity in mind. Number 2 is we don't procrastinate. Number 3, you don't overcommit yourself. And 4, you find balance. And only you can hear that from the Lord of what all of that looks like. And so seek him, ask him, and he will give you the wisdom and all of that. And then a few verses that I wanted to read in Matthew 11:28. This is a shorter one today, y'all. Matthew 11:28, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. So we are to come to him, right, y'all? We can rest. It is important. So hear me, I'm not saying to not rest. So no one come tell me that. Proverbs 10:4, lazy hands make poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 14:23, all hard work brings profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. So don't be someone who only talks about doing stuff, but do it. Don't be lazy in that. Put in your hard work during your daytime hours. We all have to obey this, y'all. 1 Chronicles 16:11, seek the Lord and his strength, seek his presence continually. He is the one who gives us the strength to get this done. When I first married Sean, I stepped into not only a wife, but a pastor's wife and a stepmom. So it went from me and myself and I to all of this. And I loved it and it was such an honor. But there was a time in my life where I got a little overwhelmed and I did not know how to handle it all. And I didn't really have anyone to go to except when I was learning things the hard way and I was falling on my face and I was not asking the Lord in that time what to do. And so I want to encourage you, don't get overwhelmed. If you need to ask for wisdom from someone that you admire, go ask them that's going to give you godly wisdom. Don't be discouraged and keep it all in and fail, but go seek counsel and get the strength from him. You, like we talked about, your life looks different than everyone else's. Mine was, I wasn't sure how to handle and balance work life and being a stepmom and all of it. And it is an honor and I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, but I had to seek him and see what he wanted me to do and what to make a priority and what to not. And it is my job as a wife to manage my household. And there are things that I used to not like to do, but I have to know that I am called to do this. I'm called to take care of the house and to clean and to do all of the things. And Sean helps and we are a team. But as a lady that is, seeking after God and wanting to do and serve my husband as best as I can, that looks different than someone else who is not living their life that way, right? And so don't go to someone who isn't living a eternal perspective life, right? That's just living for the here and now. You have to draw your strength from the Lord and you have to draw the wisdom from him and see where he wants you to do. It's very easy to be overwhelmed, but when you sit back, you stop, you ask him for wisdom, and then you shut your mouth and you listen and give him the chance to talk to you, then that's when he gives you wisdom. That's when he gives you the direction to get done what you were supposed to get done, because we all have a purpose. We're all born, like Pastor Ryan says, we're all born for a purpose, with a purpose. And so to live out your purpose, to get the things done on a daily basis that you need to, he's the one that's going to strengthen you. He's the one that's going to guide you. Quit doing it on your own. You don't have to. And that is when things fail. And that is when stress comes upon your life and worry because you've taken on too much. So figure out what to say yes to, figure out what to say no to. It's okay to say no to people. I know there's quite a few people that I've noticed that have started serving, and there are times I'm like, hey, have you sat in service? Because it's important. You need to sit in service to receive. Serving is great. Yes, please don't hear me wrong, but you don't have to do everything all the time. And so your responsibilities, like we're talking about, are going to look different. Becca's responsibilities are different than mine. Clemmy's responsibilities are different than Becca. And so don't compare yourself to others. Really seek the Lord and what you're supposed to be doing. And I have two more verses that I just had at the end. Colossians, I don't think I did this. I don't believe so. Colossians 3:17 says, and whatever you do in word or deed, did I read this? No. Do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. So everything you do is in the name of the Lord Jesus, and you're thanking God the Father And so you might not love to scrub toilets. Well, you're going to be thanking the Father while you're doing it, right? It is an honor. You just have to look at it as an honor to be alive. It is an honor to be given the responsibility to be a mom or a wife or whatever your role is right here and right now. Focus on that. Quit looking at the next season of, I cannot wait to get married or I cannot wait to have a kid, because then you're going to lose the opportunities that you have here and now. I know I've been guilty of that, of I can't wait to have a kid, I can't wait to do this. No, stop. Live right here and right now. Those things will be given to you as you handle what you've been given right now. And that wasn't in my notes, but that was for someone as well. Quit looking in the future and enjoy what God has given you now. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. Do everything you do for the Lord. Don't do it for others. If you're having an issue with wanting to do something that the Lord has told you to do, get your eyes off of man, put your eyes on him, start singing worship songs, praise him, thank him, and your attitude will change. That is what I have for you today. Thank y'all for joining. I hope it blessed you as I was kind of just real of things that I have been learning and growing in, and then also what the Word says, because that is what everything boils down to. What does the Word say? As Pastor Mike always says, book, chapter, verse, and that is true in every area of life. We love you. Please tune in tomorrow at 10 with Pastor Andrea and Pastor Kinsey. You won't want to miss it. We love you all very much here at CITC. Have a blessed afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow.